Boxing Truth here. Wanted to do a little topic about Kell Brook and his situation that he's going through. He's been left in the dust. He's currently left out on big fights at the moment. He's the IBF champion. He's had a kind of a pretty, how do you say, like a pretty much a lame type of reign at welterweight so far. He defeated Sean Porter, then got hurt in some type of incident in Spain, got stabbed in the leg. A lot of rumors about what happened. I don't know. I don't want to get into it anyways. I don't really care. Ever since, he's made two defenses. One was a mandatory, another a stay busy fight. Pulled out of the Diego Chavez fight because of a rim injury. That would have been a good fight for him. Didn't happen. And now he's scheduled to fight Kevin Bizier on March 26th, I believe, at the Sheffield Arena in his hometown. And it's a disappointing reign so far. Eddie Hearn hasn't been able to deliver the big fights to Kell Brook, and he's feeling the heat from not being able to deliver that big fight. Kell Brook is upset. He now has to fight a no-name Kevin Bizier, and he's going to continue to be criticized, being called the bum hunter on a bum quest. But Kell Brook is definitely yearning for a big fight. He knows he needs it after his next defense of Kevin Bizier. He should beat Bizier. Bizier is a solid fighter, but just not strong enough, not good enough defensively, not as good an athlete as Kell Brook. So he's easy to hit. So Brook should look like a monster in this fight. And Eddie Hearn needs to deliver for Kell Brook after this defense, whether that's moving up in weight to look for bigger names, whether that's for a possible unification. He has to get him a big fight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He has to deliver for Kell Brook, because Kell Brook is in desperate need of a big fight. However, the pickings are slim. I mean, there's just really not much hope that Kell Brook's going to get a big fight at welterweight. Amir Khan's tied up. Most likely will lose to Canelo, and then he'll probably get laid out maybe, and probably won't fight again for the rest of the year. So he might be gone. He might be tied up. Or say he beats Canelo in a big upset, he's contracted to a rematch. So he's pretty much tied up. So he's out of the picture, especially for the summer. That's just not going to happen. So Kell Brook has to look elsewhere for a big fight. And the thing is, though, the two other champions in the division, well, there's three other champions, but the two other current champions right now, because the WBO is currently vacant, are Danny Garcia, WBC, and Keith Thurman for the WBA. Thurman's going to have a fight in March against Porter. I favor Thurman to beat Porter right now. And Garcia, he's currently free, but it's no telling if there's really no direction on where he's gonna go. He has no mandatory challengers. That situation needs to be sorted out. Mayweather's probably not gonna return until, if he returns, it won't be until September because the May date is gone. So Garcia is available, but I just don't see that fight happening. It's not really the biggest fight out there anyways. It's a significant fight. It's a unification, but it's not really a big fight. Not really. It's not a fight that's going to generate a lot of money. I mean, Kell Brook's never fought in the States. He's not the biggest name. I mean, if they were to do that fight, I think they'll make more money if Garcia went to the UK, not in America. If Garcia went to the UK, I think they'll do business, more business, because there'll be more of a market there for that fight. But it's very difficult to get an Al Haymon fighter to sign a dotted line anyways, and it's also very difficult to get an Al Haymon fighter to travel. So, and Garcia's situation is different compared to Charles Martin. Charles Martin has his own promoter. He has his own manager. Garcia is strictly with Haymon, so it's a different situation. I just don't see Haymon having any need for Kell Brook right now. He doesn't really need his belt. He has his in-house fights lined up with Thurman and Porter, and Garcia will most likely fight another Al Haymon client next, and then maybe they can set up a unification fight between Garcia and the winner of Thurman Porter. So that leaves only one option for Kell Brook and Eddie Hearn. And this is they should be gunning for this fight, and that's Miguel Cotto. Now, Miguel Cotto has been reported that he'll be returning on June, and the date in June, most likely in New York, or whether that's the Barclays or Madison Square Garden, whatever. But Eddie Hearn and Kell Brook need to gun for that fight. Now, according to Freddie Roach, he was one of the opponents being considered. Kell Brook was one of the opponents being considered for Miguel Cotto's return on June 18th. And that was according to Cotto's advisor. He gave Freddie Roach a list, and Kell Brook's name was on it. So Eddie Hearn needs to gun for that fight. That's the biggest opportunity for Kell Brook, fighting a named fighter like Miguel Cotto. Yeah, he's coming off a loss to Canelo, but he still has a market value. He still has a fan base in New York. He's still a big name. He fought. I mean, he lost the fight clearly, but he didn't get knocked out in the fight against Canelo. But it'd be an interesting fight with him and Kell Brook, and that's a good fight for Kell Brook. I would pick Kell Brook to beat Miguel Cotto right now, even if he had to move up in weight. Kell Brook's still he's a big welterweight. He could definitely carry 154 pounds, no problem. Maybe they could fight at a catch weight. Maybe Miguel Cotto will be willing to move down at 147 for a shot at the IBF strap. After this mandatory defense for Kell Brook against Bizier, he won't have to defend his title for a year, so he can get at least 2 voluntary defenses in, and Miguel Cotto could be that fight. Because there's no other option for Kell Brook. I mean, I don't see Danny Garcia or Keith Thurman fighting Kell Brook at the moment. They don't need him right now. Al Haymon doesn't need that fight right now. They're not really that big fights anyway. So he will rather keep it in house and build up perhaps a potential Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman fight for the end of the year or early next year, whenever it will happen. And that depends and a lot of things have to be put in place for that to happen. But I just see Haymon keeping it in house, and Eddie Hearn's gonna be very tough to get Kell Brook a big fight in the summer. Now that Khan's out of the table, and I don't see the Al Haymon welterweight stepping up. No. It's only Miguel Cotto. That's the only name out there for him. Triple G, yeah, they mentioned Triple G, but that's not going to happen. No, especially not at 55. I mean, Triple G won't even go down to 155 to fight Canelo. You think he's going to go down there to fight Kell Brook, who's not a big name in the United States? He won't even go down there to fight the cash cow at 55 because he doesn't have to. He's a mandatory challenger for Canelo's belt. But he definitely ain't no way in hell is going to do it for Brook, who don't bring nowhere near the cash that Canelo will bring to the table. So, no, that's not going to happen. So, Miguel Cotto is the last option, unless there's any other big names out there that I don't know of. There's really no big names at 54. Lara, no. Why the hell is Kell Brook fight Lara for? The Charlo brothers? Nah. Jillian Williams? Nah. It's Miguel Cotto. That's it. That's Eddie Hearn's only option. Can he get it done? I don't know. Tough situation for Kell Brook and Eddie Hearn. That kind of announcement really gutted them. I mean, they was hurting. I mean, they was upset. It was definitely butthurt when that fight got announced. But damn, I'm hoping Kell Brook will get a big fight in the summer. I really want to see him tested against a better fighter than Porter. Porter is still the best fighter he fought, but Porter. There's better fighters out there in the division. In my opinion, there's also better fights, bigger names, more lucrative fights, more bigger opportunities. But Kell Brook's just the odd man out right now. Can't buy a big fight. Wish him the best for the summer. Don't know who he's gonna fight, but they need to gun for that Miguel Cotto fight. If they have to travel to these states, most likely they will. They will have to travel to get a big fight for Kell Brook. Eddie Hearn would prefer to stay in the UK because he has a deal with Sky Sports and he wants to provide them with a big lucrative fight on their network. But it's just not likely for Brook to get a big fight in the UK, so he's gonna have to travel. And Miguel Cotto's that fight for him, but will Miguel Cotto fight him? The timetable makes sense. Kell Brook was going to return in June anyways. Cotto's returning in June. So, I like that fight. I mean, I definitely wouldn't mind that fight at all. And I pick Kell Brook to beat Cotto right now. He's fresher, the younger guy. Yeah, Cotto's way more experienced, but he's up there in age. He's looks a little faded. He was rejuvenated for a little bit. Freddie Roach improved his conditioning, but he still showed some signs of age this last fight. But anyways, let me know what y'all think about the situation. Will Kell Brook finally get a big money fight this year? This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.